learning is not an invitation, it's an obligation. If you're going to build a company and you don't like to learn, don't do it. Don't do it. You do something else. Do real estate or whatever, right? But if you want to open a company, you're going to have to keep learning. And I'm not talking about learning, opening a book, education, courses, seminars, conferences, networking.
Here we go. Another amazing entrepreneur heading our way. And Henny has done it all in the healthcare space as an entrepreneur, where now he's specializing in integrative and regenerative medicine with a strong focus on pain management and spine care. He brings us some value from Canada clinics down to Florida, and he's going to help us on a lot of topics, including lessons in precision, resilience, and risk-taking, the healing power of purpose, advancing therapies and entrepreneurship in healthcare. If this is something that you're interested in, we have the perfect guest for you. We're going to discuss navigating the challenges of launching and scaling biotech ventures in complex and regulated industries. But Hani, thank you so much for starting your day with me here on That Entrepreneur Show.
Thanks a lot, Vincent, for having me. I really appreciate the kind introduction, and I'm really hoping we can give something to your audience that will inspire them.
We absolutely will. You've had a very lengthy and thorough entrepreneurship journey, so I can't wait to hear about some of the lessons learned behind the scenes. But first, let me welcome everyone back to That Entrepreneur Show. My name is Vincent A. Lancy, and I want to thank you for giving us some time today and keeping this show a top 2.5% global show. We can't do it without you tuning in each week, and we're brought to you by ComingAlivePodcastProduction.com. Now, Hanny, I gave an introduction that went in a few different directions, but before we can dive into that, what led you to become an entrepreneur?
I always wanted to work for myself. Since I was young, I didn't want to work for somebody. I know that I'm not good in following rules and be bound by rules and boundaries. So I really wanted to work for myself. And that was the start. I actually didn't want to be a physician, and I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And after high school, I was going to attend American University of Cairo Business School. And that day, a bomb went off. And I decided to stay and help people that are injured by it. Went home, ripped up my application. I said, yeah, I'm going to be a physician. But my passion never wavered. My goals to always be an entrepreneur always has been there.
When you got into entrepreneurship, what were some of the bigger challenges you faced as a new entrepreneur, maybe to help out our listeners who are just getting started today?
Education. Vincent, education is the most important thing. We don't learn business in medical school at all. You don't know how to open a clinic. You don't know how to run a clinic. You don't know how to run a practice, how to scale it, what works and what not. And it's just frustrating. You go in and said, okay, I've graduated. What should I do? I don't know. Open a practice. You open a practice. Okay, how can I hire somebody? How can I even interview somebody? Right? So I had to learn this all over again. As I always say, before COVID, it was horrible experience for me. I felt like I'm drowning. I don't know what should I be doing, what should be done. I was micromanaging everything, Vincent, from turning off on the light to turning off the light, from calling a plumber or the sink is leaking or whatnot to everything, right? It was slavery. I don't know how I lived with myself like that. But then COVID came and my wife said, why don't you go learn some business? Why don't you always wanted to go to Harvard. And sure enough, I looked and Harvard moved to online business courses. I did not hesitate, signed up that day and boom, it opened my eyes to the entrepreneurship, what it means, how to build a company, how to be a leader and how to get the people's buy-in, not to have them scared and to change the culture. So learning is the biggest. Learning in your field, learning about entrepreneurship, about competition, about your market. And like the guy, he's a business theorist, said, the ability to learn faster than your competitor is probably the only sustainable competitive advantage. So learning.
The learning never stops unless you want it to, and I hope that means you're retired, because the more you learn about something, the more you realize you don't know about something, right? How many different ways and areas you can continue to add to your repertoire. So thank you for sharing that. I love to talk about something I know you have a passion about speaking, the healing power of purpose, where you take transforming personal injuries into careers of innovation, empathy, and more.
Like you said, it's been a personal journey. It's been actually, like I call it, a passion project. I love chronic pain. I love spinal surgeries, but I always scared of having a surgery. I recently had a shoulder surgery that I postponed for 9 years. I was so scared to have the surgery from the pain, rehab, and whatnot, and I've done everything possible. So, anti-aging, regenerative stem cells, peptide has been really a personal journey, and it's a project of passion. I love it. I live by it, and I deeply research into it. And the more I get into it, I learn about it. It just fascinates me. Regenerative medicine is the future. It's like an alternate universe of healing and medicine. I love Western medicine. I love it. I love the holistic way about it. But this is totally different. And I believe it's not a biohack. I don't like to call it biohack because it's science based, and it's not a hype because there's a lot of science behind it. And you can actually see inside the cell and how you can fix it and fix the mitochondria to give the patient, give myself, and give the patients the maximum potential in their life. It just fascinates me.
I love it. Well, let's take it to a basic level in case right now, as you're speaking, someone's hearing regenerative medicine, regenerative therapies for the first time. What is it as a very basic level to educate our audience?
That's a great question. And like I always say, longevity and health span and lifespan, as I call it, it's not about being immortal, Vincent. It's not about adding years to your life. It's adding life to every single year you live. I always wondered when I was young, why do we have to grow up, be healthy, be strong, then decline again and die? Why can't we stay healthy and one day stop to exist? At age of 100, 110, I just stopped to exist. I love to do a lot of activities. I like working out. I like racing cars. I like playing sports. Why do I have to give this up after my 50s or 60s? And this is what really got me into this. So basically, we look into the cell. We have the opportunity now to analyze the cell into a mitochondrial level. Go inside the cell and look what's going on and what's happening after age of 30, after age of 40, 50, 60, and give it back its life. If there is a breakdown in the mitochondria, breakdown in the cycles, we can alternate, we can fix this by adding peptides, by adding what's missing in it. Could be changing the habits, could be better sleep, could be reducing anti-inflammatory, could be a lot of things that very simple and basic that will retain back the mitochondria in its level. So you could be 50, but you live like a 20 years old, from healing power, from skin, from muscle, bone, joints. I believe in the next few years, aging will be a condition. Aging is not going to be the normal life. Like I hear, oh, I'm just old. Like all of my patients say, oh, just being old. No, you can actually prevent, treat, and reverse. So this is longevity and health span and lifespan in a nutshell. We go back into the cell because, by the way, all the medication that pharmaceutical are doing, right, or creating, they work outside the cell. We influence the cell from outside. In longevity, we go inside the cell and fix it. So we treat the root cause of the problem, not just influencing it or dumbing the inflammation or blunting it. We are fixing it in a cellular level. This is longevity.
Thank you for sharing that. And I hope everyone, you got a lot of value and understanding out of that. Be sure to stick around to the end of the show when we share his contact info for you to stay updated and connected and everything in between. Now, as you're recovering from this surgery, right, I find that you may have a lot of extra thinking time, right? A little more downtime. What's next for this current business? I hope you're enjoying today's show as much as I am leading the discussion. Remember to subscribe to stay current on our shows.
AI, genetics, genomics, and epigenetics. We cannot ignore AI and its effect. In my opinion, and for your audience who lived through the start of the internet, I'm a little bit older, and I've seen the internet changing lives. I was the last one in my friends to have an email. And I looked like I was coming from the medieval ages. I said, you don't have an email? No, I don't. I don't know what's that. I was just buried under medical books and I didn't catch up. It took me a while and I was behind. AI will be like that. If AI can go in and summarize years of research for me in literally few seconds, why not? It will be a tool. If AI can look at the genetics, genomics, like I will have you in my clinic, I will do a genetic and genomic test. We'll see what you can have in the future. I can know if you have an osteoarthritis, if you have tendency for high blood pressure, high cholesterol from the family, or any other condition. And I will tell you, you know what, Vincent? I think if you take vitamin D and K, you will live longer. It's as simple as that because AI looked into the data from all our patients who has osteoarthritis and their genetics, and we've seen that taking those supplements and exposed to the sun 3 times a week will help you out prevent osteoarthritis. Why not? So genetics, genomics, and AI will help prevent. There are some diseases that will not see in the next 5 years because we will change this concept.
Well, I look forward to seeing all the hard work you continue to put in so we can see all of these great findings come to life. Everyone, we're talking a lot about healthcare, but how he got this business going, we learned a little bit about that. What advice now can you give to entrepreneurs here, Hani, who are ready to scale their business, right? They've started, they figured it out, now they're growing. What are some things you wish you knew before you started scaling?
That's another great question. I believe that growth and scaling your business is extremely uncomfortable. Growth is extremely uncomfortable. Every 2 years, I ask myself if I'm going to survive or not, if the company is going to survive or not. I keep telling my wife, I don't know if I'm going to have a job in a couple of years, but this is how it grows. This is how breakthrough is developed. If you don't feel this, if you're sitting comfortable and said, yeah, you know what, Vincent, I'm going to open 10 clinics next year. That's not growth. That's not growth at all, right? When you feel your heart pounding, you have sleepless nights, this is when the real growth happens. That will develop confidence and, most importantly, resilience. Don't fall a victim for your mindset that it could not be done. It's impossible. It took me from my journey, it took me 4 years to have the courage to trust myself to buy my partner. I never thought I would be able. I thought I built excuses for 4 years, Vincent. I don't have the money. I don't want loans. What I'm going to do by myself, how I'm going to grow this. It's absolutely ridiculous. I fall victim for this bad cycle for 4 years. The minute that I decided, I never looked back. I bought him. I grew the company 5 times in 2 years after I bought him.
Wow. So looking forward to seeing how big it gets. Do you see yourself opening another location, growing this one to a bigger building, or what do you see as far as expanding?
I would love to grow outside Florida. I would like to go to the Middle East. And honestly, Vincent, the whole idea about this is to start a movement. It is happening. I can see it. It's led initially by influencers, but now physicians are taking over anti-aging and regenerative. And we should lead a movement for anti-aging and treating aging, stop it, treat it, or reverse it. I think opening more clinics, locations, adding more services, focusing a lot of our resources on research in North America and the Middle East. I think that will leave a good footprint for people to understand that it could be done. And it's not for the rich, it's not for only the celebrities. You can get stem cells from your own, and you can change your life just with few supplements and changing few habits.
Well, I love how you just touched on there, so I don't want to breeze past this. I had seen it in your information sheet. Everyone, if you are a podcast host, getting an information sheet from us will really help you out. Please let us know. You, through charitable foundations, actually provide free treatments to low-income patients. So I want to give you the flowers on that one because you mentioned not just for celebrities. How did you begin to do that, offer this to help others?
It's a passion. I have a very spiritual and religious background, right? And it's not only this. If I think of a patient, and I've tried everything, Vincent, in my knowledge, my power to treat them, and I know that PRP or stem cells will help them, I cannot withdraw this. I cannot withhold it. I cannot say, no, you know what, we don't have money. In good conscience, that's not what I feel right. It has to be done. It has to be done. I don't care about the cost. I don't care about how much is going to affect whatever other treatments that we will be providing in the clinics, it has to be done. I do it for personal. Maybe I'm selfish in this way as well, because I would like to see through the results for my patients or any other patients. It's just the way that you add more value to the community. I had this dilemma a few years back, right? And I know it's going to be long winded, but I didn't know my purpose. I honestly didn't know my purpose. I felt that there's something wrong. Um, I'm working, I'm growing, but what exactly my purpose? And I was asked before a question in a podcast, what's the difference between success and fulfillment? I said, I'm successful. I've got cars, I've got homes, got money, but I'm fulfilled. I wasn't fulfilled. I felt like always something missing, right? So I started looking deeper, deeper, closing down myself. And I spent a lot of time. That was really probably mid COVID. I said, what's missing? Purpose. I need to have a purpose. My purpose is to make a difference. I realize that we're all founded in this earth or life to have a purpose. We're not here just to succeed and have money and kids and travel and then one day stop and die. We have a purpose. We have to leave a mark on humanity, whether it's one patient at a time, one client at a time, or even one employee at a time.
Well, leaving a mark is just what you're doing. And I'm going to back up to what we were talking about before in case someone else was thinking the same thing I am. You do your work in United States, you do your work in Canada, and now you want to also move out to the Middle East, right? What is the biggest maybe difference or challenge from work in Canada to doing work here in Florida, United States?
It's a huge difference. The healthcare is different as well as the patient, right? And I am extremely privileged to work. I've worked in Dubai, Egypt, New Zealand, Canada, and United States. It's totally different. Canada, people are very mellow. It's a one payer system, so it's a single payer. The government pays for everything. You're not allowed to offer anything that the government is offering and get paid for it. So if the government is one day decided to offer PRP, I cannot offer it and get paid for it, right? Okay. So the patient are more patient. They are waiting and waiting and waiting, unfortunately, sometimes too long, right? And they were happy with whatever you can present. In Florida, it's totally different. It's cutting edge. It's very dynamic. You can really excel. You can get cutting edge, do stuff, and the people will look and listen and willing to try. So they are taking more risks, not on the health wise. I never put my patient in a risk or myself. Like I always say, I will never do something or offer something to a patient. I haven't tried it myself. In the Middle East, it's way different. In the Middle East, they're a little bit more superstitious. They like the most exciting, cutting edge, but in a different way. They actually value paying for treatment. It's like a showcase. You know what I mean? When you're sitting and said, okay, my car is more expensive than yours, they are looking like that. Oh, my treatment is more expensive than yours. But it's not that only this. They have a hub between Western medicine and Eastern medicine. So for you to go in and penetrate is going to be challenging. But I love that challenge because I truly believe that we have something with real substance that can change lives.
Oh, wow. Well, you certainly are changing lives, and I am looking forward to, again, seeing all the latest now that we are connected. Everyone, you still got to stick around a little bit longer to get the contact info, but we're getting a little bit closer, and we've touched on a lot of great things, but I know you also can add value in a few more ways here. So now let's talk about some leadership lessons, maybe balancing clinical expertise with business acumen to build these purpose-driven companies that, as we just said, are impacting lives.
It is probably the $1 billion question. I learned this in Harvard and it was quite amazing. What if your company shut down overnight? Will you leave a void? Will somebody actually miss you? Will you make a difference in somebody's life to the point that they will be sad that you shut down? This is how you build a company. Otherwise, you don't have a company. So number one, learning, as I said. Learning is not an invitation, it's an obligation. If you're going to build a company and you don't like to learn, don't do it. Don't do it. You do something else. Do real estate or whatever, right? But if you want to open a company, you're going to have to keep learning. And I'm not talking about learning, opening a book, education, courses, seminars, conferences, networking, the whole thing. Number two, emotional intelligence. You need to understand first and foremost yourself, right? How your emotions are affecting you and how you're reflecting on your leadership team and C-suite. if you are aggressive, if you are cannot control your emotions, and some days you're hot, some days are cold, you're never going to have a team. You will never keep balance. Number three, you need to have a vision. If you don't have a vision, purpose, and you're working intentionally, your company is not going to grow. You will have a company, but you'll never grow. I learned the hard way. I looked at the stats in Harvard, and I've seen a lot of companies fail. You know why they fail, Vincent? CEOs. CEOs are the main reason for companies to go bankrupt or go belly up. If the CEO is not intentional and purposeful, it doesn't work. You really have to be, number one, you need to forget about life work balance. You are life work integration. That's right. Integration is quite imperative to know that I live, breathe, and think all day long about my passion, my obsession. It becomes an obsession. This is how you're going to grow it. This is how you're going to have a successful company, right? But otherwise, it will be a hustle or a job. And you have to be purposeful that everything you will need, you will have a trade off, right? Everything has a price, Vincent, right? From sleepless night to being lonely at times. But if you're intentional, purposeful, you will reach your goals. You will have your North Star. And this is where the success will be your North Star.
Wow. I mean, I thought I already had the teaser picked out, right? The preview in the front of the episode, but we might have just came back to that. So I can't wait to listen back to this already. Absolutely phenomenal advice. And wearing every hat, again, is a job, something I've strived over the last few years where my company can run without me. You know, shout out to Danica and Julie that are leading the way for me, where it's not very valuable if it only runs through you, right? I still do wear a hat, as you see me if you're on the video wearing a hat,
Yep.
where I play a role in the company, but I'm grateful to found people on my team that believe in me, even through the highs and the lows, that believe in the central mission. And I think it's important there. That could be a whole nother episode where hiring and moving on from the right employees as well, because I know, you know what, why don't we just touch on that quick? You have any hiring tips as you've had experience now, I'm sure, with some good ones and some ones that you wish worked out a little better?
I learned through blood, sweat, and a lot of regrets, right? Hiring was the weakest spot I've ever had in the business. I know my medicine, I know the market, I know what my patients want, right? But I always wanted to be in control. I always wanted to micromanage. Very bad idea. You need to hire, number one, people smarter than you are. Because Steve Jobs said that. I hire smart people, smarter than I am, to tell me what to do and not for me to tell them what to do, right? Richard Branson said that. How you're building, when he was asked how you're building $1 billion company after $1 billion company, he said, I put the vision, hire the smartest people in the market and get out of their way. So you need to hire smart people. You need to hire people that are willing to grow, not the status quo, not just to herd the cheap or the employees. Don't work by uh, 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 an iron fist, by people that really likes to grow, learn more, and ask them what was the last course, what was the last book in the interview that really made a difference. What's your favorite book? When was the last time you attended a conference? Is very important. Number three, you need to ask them 5 years from now, where do you see yourself? Everybody is prepared for this. It's a standard question in any interview. But you have to look back and see, okay, I have a leave a legacy. I need a successor. I need to teach people, make a difference, and affect people's lives. This is what the real answers should be. So hire for the people first, and everybody can learn the skill after that, Vincent.
I absolutely love that. You have to be coachable. And I've had, people come on that weren't fluent in the podcast world, but being coachable, they've turned out to be some of the biggest assets to my team. And everyone listening on, you know who you are. But speaking of people and speaking of conversations, Annie, if you could sit down with any entrepreneur, dead or alive, to pick their brain, who are you going with?
Richard Branson.
All
Love
right. You
this
did
guy.
preview that. Yep.
How cool is he? And I just want to learn, how did he do it? How did he start a company with no money? He started Virgin Flights with no money. How did you do that? It was just fascinating. But he surrounded himself with smart people. It just, if I can do that, second, Elon Musk. If I just can sit down and get in his head for a few minutes, which I know it's really hard, it will be life-changing experience.
And they're two people where all other factors put aside, politically and other things, as entrepreneurs, you cannot argue with either of those choices. And with that, Hani, I have to thank you so much for joining us here on That Entrepreneur Show. Everyone, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss conversations like these in the coming weeks. But where is the best place to find you online? More about your company.
Always on social media. Instagram, where you can find me, Dr. Hani Damien, LinkedIn, Hani Damien MD, and Facebook, and my website, drdamien.com. I'm always welcoming challenges, mentorship questions, medical questions, anti-aging regenerative. I know it's a cowboy land, but you need to seek somebody who understands this. There are leads, Dr. Peter Ataya and Andrew Huberman, but you can always reach up to me.
Everyone, that's HanyDemian. I don't know what you're waiting for, whether you're strictly in entrepreneurship or you happen to overlap in healthcare and entrepreneurship. He might be a good idea to reach out with and create a relationship there because, as you can see, he's on to big things, soon expanding into the Middle East. At that point, we'll bring him back on the show, though, of course, to let everyone know the latest and greatest. And again, my name is Vincent A. Lancey. Be sure to subscribe here and check us out on social media. Leave us a comment. Let them know how much you enjoyed today's show. And with that, we are signing off today, both of us in Florida this time around. Thank you so much, Hani.
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I would love to hear your feedback. What did you love? What do you want to see more of? Are there any questions you would like me to ask the guests who come on the show? This show is not possible without you, the amazing listeners, so please email us at podcastsbylancey@gmail.com and let us know what you think. We'll also feature you on a later show. Please remember to subscribe to stay current with our amazing community of guests who will continue to come on the show, sprinkled in with solo episodes from me, Vincent A. Lancey. With that, I look forward to introducing more shows to you each and every week. And with that, we're signing off today. Enjoy the episodes and make it a great day ahead.